Hi folks, welcome to my humble homestead in the forest, and today is garlic planting day. And ideally there's something called a biodynamic calendar. What is biodynamic calendar? It basically, without making it too complicated, basically is when you want to plant, when is the most ideal time to plant based on the calendar, the stars, and the grip, and when is the best time to construct something, put your posts in the ground, all those things. I don't want to make it too complicated, but the window for this year, of today in particular, is garlic planting day, is tomorrow, which is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sadly, we're getting rain for all of those 3 days. So today is just being a Saturday, we're going to try to plant it on Saturday. So for us, the decision came to between, do we plant it the day before that window of 3 days, or do we plant it after that? So we decided to go with before, because it would also be warmer. Temperatures are dropping, days are shorter. So before we go into planting the garlic in the ground, I have to do some garlic prep. So I mentioned, if you've seen my other videos on garlic sorting, drying, all these other things, curing, I mentioned in those videos how you're supposed to choose. Let me see if I can pick some examples. How you're supposed to choose the garlic that you want to plant. So ideally, you want to plant the largest garlic cloves from the garlic heads. I guess they're called heads. These are called heads, I think, that have the most number of garlic cloves in them. So what I mean is, in this particular case, this one has 5 bulbs in it. If I've had heads that have had 7 bulbs in them, so that's better. So what it technically should mean is that the bigger and the more number of cloves there are in a head, when you plant them individually, then you will get the same replica coming back the year after when you harvest it. For instance, if this has 5 cloves in it, it probably means that when I planted one of these bulbs of the 5 in last year this time, it gave me the same 5 or more. But in my experience, I've had less too. So, but failing to do that, because I have also here, sometimes your yield isn't as much or as big or whatever. Here's a good example. Failing to find big bulbs, big cloves from big heads, you may find that you have too big, a head that only has 2 bulbs in it, cloves in it, but they're big. These are big, and I've even got bigger than these. So if you're looking to do this to sell or to use for your own use, obviously the bigger the better, because the less, messing with and trying to peel these tiny little garlic cloves. It just takes time, and nobody has time. And even here, where time slows down a lot, you have chores to do. So everybody prefers bigger bulbs. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to take out the biggest bulbs that I can out of these 2 boxes that I have here that I've set aside from our harvest this year to replant. Separating them for in the afternoon when we go to plant them in the ground. And I may or may not do a video on that. I don't know how much time we'll have. And I will show you how to actually separate. Even separating them is not easy to do, because what you want to actually do is to make sure that the skin that you see here, this really super thin, papery skin is left on them. When you may think, well, what kind of protection can that do? Going in the ground, it's going outside in Canada, 20, 30 degrees below zero, but how does that even keep them warm? Well, the thing is that, believe it or not, I've done it both ways, just one time as an experiment, and the ones that didn't have this tiny little thin papery jacket on, even just on one side, did fared worse, or the ones that were completely covered in their skin fared much better coming out of the winter. So when we go to harvest them in the fall, you can see how they were susceptible somehow to maybe frost or disease or moisture or any of these things. Amazing. So when you're peeling these things apart, and I will try to show you as I do it, you can watch me do it, be very careful that all the skin's left on them. Obviously you're doing your best, and obviously in this case I have to do 400 of these, and so it becomes tiring, and because it's not something that, it is repetitive, but because it's not something you do all the time, you haven't developed the right muscles for your back, your neck, for your hands, for your thumbs, all that stuff. So it becomes tiring, and you start to maybe lose patience or whatever. So maybe if you can break it up into throughout the day, so you don't have to do all 400 or however number it is that you have to do for yourselves, or if you're thinking of doing a farm, so you can hurt yourself and it becomes not a chore that you enjoy anymore. All right, so let's get to it. Make sure you're comfortable. Put your glasses on. I just run my thumb along the cracks. Yes, I'm breaking the skin. I went to school days breaking skin, but I am breaking it, but then I'm only doing like you would do like an orange, just like a wedge, and then gently, there you go. All of the skin is left on, bottom to top, perfect. And I set these aside in clumps of 10, so for easy counting, and then I put them in a separate bag. So if I have, say, 10 bags, or what I said, 3 bags of say 100 of these in it, I know it's 300. I've done my 300. I don't have to count them again, just to be more productive. These you can put in your compost. I do not, because we do have, like I've done videos for you on garlic moth. We've had problems with garlic moth here before. This is my 11th year doing this. So I burn these. These are good. I mean, you don't want them in your compost because you don't know if the moth has laid its larvae or anything going to the root. So in our wood-fired quick stove, they burn. They can be as fire starters, and even if you put them in the garbage or go somewhere, it may not, if it doesn't get heated up too much, or an incinerator at wherever it lands, and that larvae or moth larvae might survive. This way, if I put it in the fire, I know that I've ensured that it's burnt. It's good for me, and good for, if that way I'm not spreading the disease or the moth. I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, although it is a very satisfying thing to watch or do, because I know you're all busy. So I'm saving these, the two clove ones for later, in case I don't have enough of the big bunches, because those are the ones that you prefer to have to plant, as I mentioned earlier. And meanwhile, anytime you're doing this, if you find any ones that are deformed or in any way not perfect, maybe disease or anything, don't plant them, because then you're just spreading the issue, the problem, the disease, or whatever it might be. Was that 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, good thing I counted. So that's 10. And when I go to plant it, if I see that some of them are not so big and I have so many, then I just plant only the big ones. Even if it's a head of 2. 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, I'm always interested in how anyone else is doing really anything, in this particular case garlic. So if you don't mind letting me know how you do your garlic, if you've done garlic before, and what's your success rates been, what lessons you've learned, and what tips you might have for me or anyone else that might be watching this. This channel is a very sort of an intimate channel, not a lot of traffic and not a lot of viewers and not a lot of subscribers or whatever. So, but whoever that is here, it's almost like your family. We're very close knit, and it's good to belong to something more intimate than I suppose something that millions of people have signed up to just because, for whatever reason, they don't actually visit it. 4, 6, 8, 10. Here's another 10. So we're up to 30 now. Oh, this is a huge one. I mean, they get bigger. Sometimes they call it elephant. But the thing is, you have to have the right start, right beginner bulb. And farmers often don't sell those. They don't use them for their own use. If they do sell them, they sell them at a much higher price. The bigger bulbs, that is. And particularly restaurants pay a lot, because time is really money for them. They don't want to have to pay a prep chef hours and hours to be peeling garlic. Okay, so I found the trouble one, and this was actually one that there's a hole in there. I don't know if you can see. The garlic moth affected. So now I'm going to get rid of that. Not in the compost and not in the fire, but in the garbage. I don't want that anywhere here. That was a good example. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And it's completely soft. It's not soft like moldy or rotten, but it's soft as in like poof, light, and no substance to it. See, this is another good example of, let me see this one. Oh, good thing I put my glasses. Here's another one that moth had affected, but this is something that I can salvage, but not by planting, but by eating it. So I'm going to set this aside. In fact, now that I put my glasses on, this is actually a good chance for me to go through them and see if any of them, of the ones that I already did, have that it's a tiny little pinhole that makes me know, alerts me in knowing that a moth had bored into, and that's not what you want to plant, because it might have its larvae or something in there. Okay, thankfully these are all good. So just this one. Actually, I'll show you this hole, and I'll show you this poofy one. You can see from close up. This is the one that's going in the garbage. Come on, focus. Okay, here we go. And it's very, very soft and flaky. That's the one that's going in the garbage. This, your tiny little pinhole where I'm pointing, if I can get it to focus on me, on this here. Come on, focus. Okay, you see that pinhole? So tiny, 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 tiny. Yeah, this is, it's still fairly hard, but this is going to be used or consumed by us because it won't last long. So that's garbage, and that's to eat. I'll just do one. Oh, I found another soft one, which is good to know. That is going in the garbage too. Yep, not salvageable. Let me put my glasses on. What's with this guy? Anything matter? Because it's from that bulb as well. No, this is fine. All of these are fine. So, folks, you get the idea. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. If I know the answer, I'll answer you, obviously. In the meantime, that's it for now. So, folks, we're in the garden now. And we're getting the garlic beds ready for garlic planting well, shortly. And what we're doing right now is turning the soil a little bit. And if you haven't already seen it, I have a video where I'm adding a layer of horse manure followed by a layer of compost. Horse manure was something about 3 inches, and the regular compost about 1 inch. So now we're mixing the two so that it's more even more balanced before planting the garlic in. This is not something you want to do normally, because once that soil has established itself, there's going to be mycelium and fungi or whatever growing in it, and if you go to turn it or scrape it in any way, till it even by hand, etc., you're going to be disrupting that network. So I'll just let you watch this for a few minutes, and then I'll give you a break, but not us. We have to do, I think, 5 beds again this year, and at least 400 cloves that you saw me earlier do. I prepare for planting. You found a many? A volunteer? Leaving it in there for next year? I don't know.
red onion. I wish I had my little handsy pot here. Right now I'm just putting it in here.
So, folks, we're coming to the nitty-gritty part. What I'm doing is I'm going around marking the lines, making as straight of a line as I can. You know, you don't have to be anal or whatever OCD about it, but it looks nicer if it's straight. So I'm doing the best I can, drawing a straight line, and then we're going to poke 4 inches deep holes and put the cloves in, and then cover them up once it's all done, so you don't forget where you covered up. Incidentally, this isn't this like any other kind of chore or work in on the homestead. It's not something you want to do by yourself. More hands make light work. So you know, if you're a single person or if you're a single parent, that's even worse, because then you have to go in and cook and the kids need attention. Don't attempt this on your own, because you'll burn out, and then you'll go running back to the city, and that's not why you started this journey, right? Yeah, one more thing, for the preppers here, the wannabe preppers in waiting, that you'll see there's some plants that are up, still standing, and when you're thinking, well, they shouldn't be, and the reason for that is that the seed saving. And remember, I mentioned seed saving before, so you always, if you can, want to let at least one of your plants of whatever you're planting. So we have arugula and what's over there? Dill on that side. There's a big bunch over there, pale green there. That's parsley. Here is lettuce, and next to that is what is that? I can't remember now. But the thing is, so one of your plants you let go, you don't harvest, you don't do anything to, and let them go to seed, so that you can plant it next year. I'm just going to go do a little bit of work, and I'm going to come back, move the camera closer so you can see how we actually do it. All right. Boy, when that sun goes away, it gets cool pretty quick.
You see what I'm saying there?
What?
That this line is so close to it compared to these ones that we.
I mean, I don't know if you want to. I can't.
I'm not going to change them. I'm just saying we need to be trying to make more room, like even. I think. But I think it's not a big deal. Yeah. Make the whole. How many holes you got? I think you've done 58.
How many?
58?
68?
58.
58? 58 times 6?
2,300 something.
So we need one more bed.
Ready for me?
You're over here. This one's ready.
Which one?
That one there.
Oh, okay.
Look, this is the bag that earlier I separated. Now they're going in.
Not going in?
No, I'm waiting for you to go away.
I'm dropping this stuff.
I think you have to do your hose more because look, I'm going like this and this is not 4 inches.
It falls back down probably.
I don't know. I'm just saying my hand can't go in that deep. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe we should push it in with another stick or something gently.
You can try to go a little deeper.
Yeah.
Like it's falling back in the snow in the hole because you know.
Yeah.
It takes longer to make a hole now. I think it's deep enough. Don't worry.
I don't think so. I'm only going down 2 inches, if I'm being honest. But if you're saying 2 inches is good, then yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep.
Yeah, okay.
Because if they have a good root system, it's okay. Getting colder.
Yeah, it's done. Oh, did you turn off the water?
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking. Good job.
Turned it off before we came out to do the work. So
You turned up before we came out?
pretty much before we came out.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
I'm slow down because it's harder to make the holes. Maybe you should just wait till I've done this bed, please, so that you can go
Okay.
systematically.
Huh?
Yeah, so you can go systematically. You
Okay.
won't forget where you started.
So, folks, what's happening here is that the holes that we're digging, poking, whatever you want to call it, plant your garlic cloves too deep, and it'll take them a long time to come up. And they're not going to actually start growing till, well, the sun's coming down, the chlorophyll, the leaves, and all that stuff. So you just wasted time and energy if you've gone too far down trying to protect it from winter. Depending on where you live, you may be able to, if you live in a warmer climate where ice, thick ice in particular, doesn't form on your beds, then you can put a layer of leaves or mulch or straw, like a book. Open them up in chunks of 2-inch wide straw, and then put them on. That will keep them warm for the winter. And then come April, maybe depending on what your zone is, come April you can remove them and then let the sun hit the soil and warm them up, and that's how that part would grow. Here, what happens is that even though we have super fluffy snow in the winter and lots of it, like all of these beds will be completely covered with snow, so it will be 3 feet of it. It's not 4 feet of it. But the thing is, once spring comes, for us could be, I don't know, May, all that rain that falls on top of all that snow, and then at night it cools, the temperature drops, and then whatever, then all that snow that's on top, this foot of snow that's on top of the beds, can become ice. And so it will take even longer for the sun to melt them, and then the actual bulbs start to grow and come up. So we have tried everything. So one year we had leaves over them, one year we had straw on top of them, and that didn't work because it was too icy for the heat to get to it, sunlight to get to it. So now we're just planting them 4 inches.
Are you gonna angle the camera with it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna angle the camera too so you can see 4 inches, and hope for the best. Now that seems to be working. Now the other thing is that if you plant them too shallow, like, I don't know, 2 inches or maybe even an inch, what happens is that with the expansion and throughout the winter and maybe even in the fall, they'll come up quickly, which is good. What's not good is that they haven't had enough root structure to cement them into, get a good footing into the soil. So springtime, I don't know where you live, but we could get wind, and if the wind comes, they can easily topple over. And then once the roots are disturbed, boy, that's another headache. You don't need that. So find out maybe for where you live how far down deep you need to poke and plant your garlic, so I don't have to tell you, and may not work for your zone. So I'm going to change the camera around so you can see what's happening from close up.
know, the spacing. They say when you have like a deeper bed like this, you don't have to as close as you would if it was like not a deep bed.
Oh yeah. Now,
What you want me to do? You said before I do something. Just let me finish this.
oh yeah, yeah.
Have you made the roll?
Now, before you go to poke the other one, could you check see if these are deep enough? I don't mind. So I can start now? Yeah, these are bigger. Thank you. Yeah. Now you're planting them with the pointy part up, and that's where the shoot comes out. Don't worry too much if you by mistake plant them upside down with the bottom part up, because they will eventually find their way up. It just takes a long time for it to come around. I've done that. So did you feel a raindrop?
I got one earlier.
Oh no.
Not right now. I mean, it's looking kind of cloudy.
Yeah, but there's no rain in the forecast.
What's that noise? Thunder?
I hope not.
Doesn't matter. We'll just finish it after. At least we got started.
Yeah.
It's not really big here. I just want to get my thickness.
So that's ready to be raked. All right, folks. The final stage of at least these 3 beds for you, but we're not done planting, is to rake them kind of smooth, fill the holes. I'll let you watch that.
how deep I'm going now, and so I think that by the time the soil goes on it, it'll be deep enough.
Okay.
See, look. By the time the soil goes on it.
Wow, really? Okay. Twice as deep.
Well, they said to put it, that deep under the ground, right? So by the time you get it in there, and the soil falls on it.
Well, folks, I don't know if this is as satisfying for you to watch as it is for me to do, but it's good knowing that you have at least some of what you need to eat, if not to survive, planted for the following year. And let me know if you want to watch anything else like that. If you have any tips for me, this is only my 11th year, so you haven't cornered the market. We don't know. Nobody knows everything. And then I will share with you the tips that I have.